guys, it's Ray from Ray Studios, and for today's art video, I'm going to be drawing 20 different types of art styles in my style. The ground rules for this are, I need a background, I need one character, and I need to have a story behind it. I don't know why a story, I just feel like it needs to be there to be a true piece of artwork. And as always, if you liked my video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more of my videos. And now let's get into the video. I definitely nominate Lavender Town to be my third favorite art tutorials channel. Not because of her art style, mainly because of the helpful tips that she has given throughout the years of me watching her channel. And I can't quite remember, but I think it was her who taught me how to do stills and make backgrounds transparent. For this story, I used this little witch right here and this little rabbit to make a mushroom house apartment building with a trail that leads to the lake. I think I did pretty good with the shading overall. I don't like the mountain, but the sky and building I'm really proud of. I think I made the mountain shading a little bit too dark, but I'm really proud of the pool and house like I've already said. This art piece took me many hours to complete, so don't let the speed paint fool you. It was really hard to draw the characters because I'm not really used to drawing big, puffy, overflowing dresses, but I think I did pretty good with this one here. But overall, I think I would give this character at its final form a 3.5 out of 10, only because of how it's built. It looks like a refrigerator if I'm being completely honest. And how I made their hair, it just looks like an unused dry mop if I'm being honest. Here I tried to draw a hat, but inevitably decided to go, nah, and just leave her without the hat. At this point in the art process, I was just trying to get it done and not be on this witch for any longer than I needed to be. So I did some coloring, did some shading, and went on to draw all the other necessary details. And then there was a few errors that I had to clean out. Again, shading, more shading. I had to take so many breaks with this character, I'm not even joking right now. I even went back and did a little bit of the house just to get away from this character. I absolutely love drawing illuminations and comfy, cozy themes, so when I had an excuse to draw her in a sleepover setting, I was all for it. I drew the little lights in the room. These were my inspirations right here on the screen. I also tried to draw some of her stuffed animals. I'm really proud of the Pokemon that I drew here. I don't know their name, but I'm still proud. I also drew one of my stuffed animals, and this cat's poster over here. I just thought it wouldn't be a Illuminations room if a cat poster wasn't in there. For the story on this, once I invited Lily to come over to my house for a sleepover and to watch Disney musicals together. And then we would become best friends after talking about Disney, and if you haven't noticed by now, I absolutely love Illuminations. I have a confession to make. I got a little bit lazy on this one, I'm not even gonna try to lie. I was really tired after working on 5 pieces straight, and I really just wanted to get this over with, so I just decided to draw ham animations playing kickball out in the woods for some reason. As you can see by here, he is struggling to kick this kickball properly. For Let Me Explain Studios, I decided to draw her tree house up in the woods, but I'm not good at drawing foresty fields, so I decided to make her tree house taller than all the other tree houses, so it would just be a plain blue background. I'm also not very good at drawing trees, So, Rebecca, if you ever see this, I apologize for slandering your amazing design. I'm trying my best here. Here I'm messing around with colors, doing some shading for the tree, lighting on the edges, darkness on the wood and lights. And I'm also doing a bunch of blending in this one. Overall, I think I did pretty well with all the shading and stuff, and the blending, and the trying to get everything to function properly, all that good stuff. The only problem I did have is that every time I tried to blend it, a little bit of the white background would like ooze in, making it look like a hot mess. So that was a very difficult problem, a very strenuous problem that I had to solve. Here I accidentally left my tablet open, so it recorded that whole process. So let's just ignore this piece and just go on to when I draw Rebecca. Here I'm drawing Rebecca, chilling and messing around with nature. I did pretty well on her skirt, so I would give my design of her a 9 out of 10. One of these art pieces that I have made is actually one of the OCs and or characters of one of my art mutuals that I recently made. And to celebrate it, I thought, hey, why don't I draw their character? And now we're here. For this piece, the story behind it is that the girl, this OC right here, is just gotten off of work from this little shop that I'm drawing right now. I had a lot of fun drawing this background, mainly due to all the weird, wacky colors that the photo had. Oh, and don't even get me started on the shading. I love how I shaded those leaves. Oh, and the lanterns? I had a lot of fun drawing the lanterns as well. A little bit tedious, but I still loved doing it. After I had done all the tedious work of shading, I decided to draw the character. I had a lot of fun drawing them, so I would give myself a 10 out of 10 with this one. Warning, if anyone wants to go check them out, this TikToker is very mature audience rated in my opinion, and so I would just like to give you all a fair warning. For this one, I was having a little bit of a hard time imagining where they would be, so I just decided to draw them in a dark, dreary cave. And to be honest, I think I kinda liked it after I did a bit of tweaking, but overall I would give the background a 9 out of 10. The story behind this is, while he was going on one of his adventures with his friends, he fell into a cave and is now trying to get out with the help of his trusty little lamp. To be honest, I had a lot of fun drawing this character. I love the bunny ears especially. I learned a new trick for lighting and shading. It's very useful when it comes to shading, and it really helped me a lot. I really like this one because at the end it came out really cute, and I love almost everything about it. The only thing I didn't like about this piece is how her arms kind of look a bit crooked and her fingers look weird. But you know what, that's alright. So I used the splitting tool for the hair to make it look more even, and I was messing around with a lot of layers in this one. I really like the patterns and designs that I used. Especially when it came to shading the hair, I love that as well. The character itself was super fun to draw. The story behind it is that she's getting ready for a photo shoot, and this is her practice photo. Sorry if I'll go on a little rant here, but I absolutely love the tiny details I put into that painting of a ball. I'm also grateful that I have these free print patterns. It's so helpful trying to get to the theme that I wanted for this one. I was trying to go for a Korean theme if you couldn't tell. Kitkreate, sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, is a small artist just like me. And I thought, why don't I give them a big house to live in? The story behind this is that they one day got famous and are now living in the most luxurious mansion in all of New York City. And you can clearly tell that I got my motivation to draw back in this piece. I was going for a 2-story apartment. The garage is his studio and the house is, well, his house where he lives in. As you can see here, I was cleaning up some of the rough edges. I also decided to add a bunch of windows. I was going to make them a bunch of circles, but in the end decided to use squares instead, only because that looked more right than anything else. This recording takes much longer, mainly due to the fact that I kept getting bored and leaving to go get something to eat. Drawing a bunch of lies can get really tedious at one point, so I just decided to take a large break for a majority of it. After I was done drawing the square windows and finishing off the door, I decided to fix out some of the edges that were either unfinished or uneven. And then I decided to draw a little bit of circle windows. A few for the garage, a few for the main house, stuff like that. The general mansion house couture. Once I was done drawing the house, I decided I was going to draw the background, like the city, the beach, the waves, all that good stuff. Personally, when I draw cities from afar, I don't exactly try to make it seem like there's windows there, mainly because you can't see the windows in actual cities from that far away, so that was just a personal choice of mine. This part was also really tedious and all, but I really like how it came out, so I won't complain too much about the tediousness of the background. Then I got rid of the overlapping lines. Then I decided to decorate the outside of his house with like a driveway for his front lawn. I'm also giving the sidewalk a little bit more detail. I'm also going to give him a walkway, a brick walkway. And after that, I'm going to give the sidewalk a little bit more detail. I don't know why this part took so long for me, but bear with me here. Then I decided that the windows were too bare and decided to add a little bit more detail within them. Like I gave the windows closed and open curtains. The garage has closed curtains mainly because I think artists like the dark more than they do the light. And in some places, they just don't have curtains at all. It's just pure window. Then once I complete all of the little details within this piece, like the doorknob, I decided to add some color. Some random red for the bricks, green, gray, brown, all those good colors for a city. I decided to go for a more beige and gray look for this one. The background is definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. Then I decided to draw their OC. I really like their hairstyle, so 9 out of 10 for me. And once again, my downward spiral into laziness as I get more tired and tired. That last piece really took a lot out of me, but I did still try to do my best with this one. I really like the character and the little vines I added at the end. Also, I forgot to mention, but I love the color palette of this character. I don't think I did that bad when it comes to base colors, but the shadowing and lighting is much to desire. Dark Fluff is one of my favorite Reddit time story creators. It's the only one where he can go into multiple genres and I won't get sick and tired of it. For the story behind this one, he's just a little dude hanging out in his garden catching some fireflies. I'm not gonna lie, this background was really hard to do, especially when the colors weren't coloring how they should be coloring. And every time I tried to use the paint bucket, it wouldn't work. When I say wouldn't work, I don't mean like the function wouldn't work entirely. No, I mean every time I used the paint bucket, it would fill the entire area instead of the specific area that I outlined. But anyway, the colors, after a bit of struggling, did continue to color how they should have from the beginning. And besides that, I had a lot of fun doing this background. Overall, I would definitely give myself a pat on the back for being such a trooper when it came to the shading of this piece. I'm also going to give this piece a 10 million out of 10 because of how sheer gorgeous it looks. Was definitely worth the hassle in the end. Then I started to draw their main Sona when they are telling their Reddit stories, and to be honest, I had a lot of fun drawing them, especially with those cute little swirly horns and their cute fluffy jacket. I perceived them as a half goat person. Then I colored them, shaded them. I really like this character so much. They're so adorable looking. I can't stand it. Then after all the shading and coloring, I decided to give it a little bit more dark perception with the little glowing fireflies. I also love this cute firefly too. For Rio's character, I decided to put them in a library because they just seem like the type of person who would like hang out in a library. Also, shout out to Rio. She is so underrated, like God. This bookshelf was really tedious and so was the other one, but hey, it came out swell in the end, so I'm not gonna complain. Not gonna complain too much like I did with Dark Fluff. For the story on this one, I decided to theme it around how I think she would spend most of her days in a library learning how to do more magic stuff, because let's be honest, this character right here is definitely into some sort of magic or witchcraft. And for this one, I had to try something different, like doing the character, then I'll do all the coloring. It just seems a lot easier, and I loved how I did this character. I love the outfit, the scarf, the jacket. I think I did really well on this one. Oh, and the hair. Oh, the beautiful design I did on that hair. I love it so much. Then I decided to draw their eyes. They were actually quite easy. Then I colored them, did the base colors, of course. Then I did the background, added all the necessary fill-ins. Then I did some shading and some detail line work, all of that good stuff. Each individual book was a different color than the last. Trust me, it is just as strenuous and tiresome as it sounds. Then, once I was done with that, I finally got into the highlights and dark shading of this whole piece. It was easy with the girl at first, mainly because it was basic shading colors, and it came out really well in the end, except for that one piece right there. This character is very simple, so I decided to give them a very simple living arrangement. The story behind this is that they, as an artist, decided to go out and live in the most beautiful place they could think of, aka the beach, to watch the sun rise and set every day. You can see here, when I made the umbrella too big, that she is now getting ready for her daily drawing of the sunset. It was very hard to draw this small, but I think I did pretty okay, to be all honest. The hair looked good in my opinion, the eyes, the mouth, the coloring. Think I did pretty well for this one. Then I decided to do the coloring and the shading of the background, add the little bit of details that I could fit into it. And yeah, I would give myself a 10 out of 10 for this one, mainly because it's how easy it was for me. When I say I love this, I absolutely loved it. Background. These two are best friends who hang out by this tree every single day after school. One's a fashionista and the other one's a gardener. I love them. I love the background, but I love their design. Especially the rainbowed one, which you'll see in a hot minute. Just look how amazing they are. Without the coloring, just a sec, just look at them in a second, but look at their outline so far. The hair, the outfit, the eyes, everything, the glasses, the coloring. Oh God, the coloring. I am fuming. I am bloody loving this coloring right now. Oh, and watch what happens when it shades. Just watch what happens when I shade them. Ooh, so crisp. They look so good. I love them so much. I will do anything for them. Oh, when I saw those two, I was like, two elemental siblings, and they're both brother and sister, and they both bicker? Yes. Yeah, you gotta meet Rava and Stone. The story behind this is that they were fiddling with magic, things went wrong, and fell into Rava and Stone's world. As you can see, I just used one of the many backgrounds that I use for the Megaverse series instead of actually drawing one. And yes, I understand that that counts as cheating, but it's my game and I'll play how I want to. I tried to stay as on brand as possible without changing too much about it, but my art skills are much more limited to theirs. But overall, I really like the style, the coloring I chose, the angles, but I would have to say from how much I cheated on this one, I would definitely say that I give it I'm gonna say 5 out of 10, just to be fair to myself and my abilities. Then I was really struggling with the girl's hair. Like, my brain was just not braining when it came to this one. So I just decided to do something like this. It was the closest I could get to it without messing it up. Then after that, I filled out the patterns, the coloring, and all that good stuff. Then I worked on all of their eyes, how each one would look, and their facial expressions. Then I colored them all, each one by one. There was some difficulties, but I got through it. I then shaded them, colored it all in, added a little bit of effects, and then finally I got to the portal of which they fell out through, did a little bit of fixing, and then I'm done. Now, while I do love this creator, they don't exactly have an OC or particular character in general, none that I know of. I decided to use their app called Wannadraw. And first, I got a frog decorating a Christmas tree, and then I decided that he's gonna need some help, so I wanted him to have a fusion-generated character. And I got Bart Simpson and Beetlejuice. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bartlejuice. So after working on the line art, I did obviously the coloring for the tree, for the characters, but mostly the tree. I put the most effort into the tree and Bartlejuice. Then I decorated the curtains, and finally I did the wall, and then I worked on all the lighting. For Metaphorical Rose, I decided to use one of their animation OCs for it, for an alien and Rava persona. They're in this cave, they're about to do a big epic showdown, at least that's what I think they're gonna do. I had a lot of fun drawing the alien from that Metaphorical Rose animation. I'll link it in the video if anyone wants to see it. I did the finishing outlining touches, cleaned it all up, and then finally, after all of that, I was finally getting on to the nitty-gritty, the coloring, and the shading. And overall, I think I did pretty well on it. I did the coloring, the shading. I would definitely give myself a 3 out of 10. 3. I'll give myself a 3 out of 10 for this one. Only because, again, I got a little bit lazy here. Powerpuff Girls, the staple of my childhood, the creme de la creme, the one thing I remember vividly from my young years. For this one, I really got the passion back into it. And the story behind this is just the Powerpuff Girls being little children for the few moments they can. And to be honest, I'm giving the background a 100 out of 10 here, mainly for the sheer amount of detail and effort I put into it. Then I worked on Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. I'm not gonna lie, their hands and legs were my kryptonite here, but again, I prevailed as all artists do. I got their big eyes to look just right, ain't too hard for me. Then I did all the coloring, the shading. I use these pictures as inspiration. And yeah, I really like this piece, 10 out of 10. Here we go again with my inspiration depleting. What is wrong with me today? But yeah, I just did a basic meet and greet. Me and her just talking while I ramble on about something in a casual dining room table. That's it. The background isn't exactly unique. The food isn't exactly detailed. One flower in a vase. And the colors aren't too interesting. So I'm gonna have to give this a 3 out of 10 for sheer purpose of how little effort I put into it. And then for the characters, I'm gonna be honest, I struggle a lot when it comes to getting characters to sit down in chairs without it looking weird. So I would have to give myself a 3 out of 10 for this one, mainly because it still looks a bit wonky and weird. Their OCs definitely give off the steampunk feeling, so I decided to make that it, like a steampunk themed hideout. Then I decided to make a bunch of random trash lying around, because of course steampunk needs some semblance of trash. Her toolbox, her papers, gadgets, and gizmos lying around, shelves scattered, a little rug, an experiment she's working on her table. Then after that, I decided to clean up the edges and do a little bit of base and shading. Gonna be honest, out of all of them, this one made me the most tired. I don't know why. But then I finished coloring and sketching out her. I think I did pretty well, if anyone wants to know. This is the character that I got reference from. Finally, the last one. This one, I will say I'm the most proud of due to the sheer amount of evidence. Sorry, Powerpuff Girls, but they had to win in this case. The story is that this character, right here, is having a birthday party. I'm going to guess her 16th birthday, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's her birthday, and her rich dad invited all of her friends and family to come over. I decided to make this really cool chandelier, and if I'm being honest, I did not struggle with this as much as I thought I would. It was actually quite easy once I got the hang of it. Sure, there was a little bit of layering, but I got through it. Then I did this perspective drawing of the railing going down towards you. Then I made all the party snacks and favors, lined up the wall so it wasn't all bare, hanged up a little flyer, wrote down all the words that I would put on it, draw the balloons, clean up whatever I had to clean up. Then I went to go draw the character coming down the stairs in her elegant gown. And then this is the part where I think I messed up a little bit, but I'm not going to give myself too much headache over it because I still like how it came out at the end of the day. I then decided to color everything. I did a little bit of shading in some areas as usual. Colored it in, blurred some of it to make it look more like a reflective surface, color in all those tight to squeeze in corners. Then I decided to mess around with the light and shading of the lamp, the floor, and then I started coloring in everything else that needed to be colored in, blurred everything that needed to be blurred, add the text, and I'm done. Okay everyone, that's it. That's my very strenuous and joyful and beautiful process of drawing all of my favorite content creators. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more of my YouTube videos. And be on the lookout for a 12 Forever video essay. Okay, see you all next time, and I hope you enjoyed the video once again. Bye!